How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the channel. I picked up this is an AM, FM stereo radio 8-track player by Sears. This came in I bought a big wooden crate, or no, big wooden box. It's almost like a giant toy box full of 8-track tapes, and this was in it. So I figured this must be somebody's, real sound system. They really loved playing their 8-tracks and kept this in the box with their 8-tracks. So when it was time, they could just pull it out and enjoy their beautiful 8-tracks. That high technology of the day. I mean, it was just amazing that you could get music off of a little ribbon. Anyway, this is kind of the precursor to the boombox, if you ask me. And I'm not going to say that is, but to me, it's the precursor to the boombox. We have our radio, we have an 8-track, which I've been wanting to do another 8-track player. And this one's perfect because this is a nice little portable. We have our speaker here, and if you unlock the back, you have your left speaker. Now, most of these, I always thought that it was the other way around, that you opened them up and this would be your right speaker and your stereo is your left. But this one's kind of different. It sets up like so. Kind of pretty anyway, it's portable because, and I say it's a precursor to the boombox because it has a battery compartment, which all the nice little foamy is all deteriorated and gone. And it says use batteries, Sears stock number. And I don't know what that little rubber wedge was for. Okay, anyway. I didn't get a power cord with this. And what's really strange is that your power cord goes into your speaker, and then you have this heavy cable that goes over to your stereo. So I guess it was a way of hiding everything, because you would wrap your power cord up in here too, and then you could put it all together with your batteries and carry it around. Neat little item. I couldn't find much about this at all to tell you anything. It's just model number 250.21300200. For parts and services, always give the above model number. AC 120 volts, 60 hertz, 28 watts, external 12 volts. Sears, Roebuck and Company, USA, made in Japan. Because why I say otherwise, it's a precursor to the boombox too, is if you look up in here and you have a 12 volt jack that you can put in this and put it in your car. And then on the back side of the radio itself, we have external speakers, which take the little 3.5s, and your plug goes in there from your power source, your speaker. That's a little bit of the gasket sticking out of it, so we may not be the first ones in this. Yeah, the screws are all wallered out, so we may have our work cut out for us as far as getting this one to work. Like I said, I didn't get a power cord with it, so I kind of had to take my Dremel and make one that would fit in there. It's a real small little guy that goes in there. It's smaller than electric razors. That's what this one was for electric razor, little square. This one takes one even smaller. with a little latch in it. So, and I didn't want to, you know, get into this and start soldering wires on it so we could put a cord on it. I just took an old razor cord and whittled it down with my Dremel. Looks like crap, but it'll work. It goes in and it will make power to this. So I think what we're going to do is I will get this all hooked up. I'll get it plugged in, and let's see what this is going to do first before we start tearing into anything. I want to see what works and what doesn't work. It's all enclosed, so I'm sure there's no critters that got into it, and there's no vermin turds in it. So we'll be in good shape there, and let's actually see what it does before we start tearing into it. Interesting is this antenna. This is when antennas were actually really long, and you have to pull it all the way up in order to get the rotation. And if you push it back down in, it goes back down in that little rubber seal, which is all wore out. It shrunk. It's still there, but it shrunk. And if you hear anything in the background, that's snow falling off the roof. So we'll get this set up, and we will see what it does and see what we have to do to get it going. Let's get this hooked up and see what it does. Let's see, those are all on the top. And get my little homemade cord here from a razor. Okay, let's see.
Get some rest and feel better.
Yeah, we got some AM. Definitely need to address that. FM. I'll just hold the antenna. Pretty rank on that side. Or is it still? I think it might still be our. Yeah, I think it's our volume switch. Either that or we got a blown speaker again. Okay, let me find a tape here. What do I have? Badfinger. Okay, so basically it seems like everything works on it, but we do need to address our volume control and slide controls for the other ones. And the light is lighting up, changing tracks. I don't know what daylight it means. Oh, dial light. Excuse me. Jeez. Can't even read. Okay, right. So it does work. But we definitely need to get in here and get some of this stuff cleaned up. We need to check that speaker. Hopefully it's just in the volume. That's why our speaker isn't working real good. It's real dim. It's like it's blown. It sounds like it to me. It may not be. Ain't nothing. In order to get anything. And it could be, since somebody else has already been in here, that they got something screwed up inside. Alright, so we'll get this unhooked. I'll get something laying down here so we can lay this on the front. Looks like we may need to... we'll see. We'll see how far we get into this one to get it looking a lot better. I mean, it's got a lot of wear on it from, you know, from use. Somebody has really enjoyed this radio. Alright, I'll get set up and we'll get the back off of this and see what kind of wonders we can find in it. Right, put that down. We'll get her, let's unplug it, of course. And get that speaker's working good. That has the power to it, so we don't even have to mess with that. And just gonna put down a little towel just to kind of keep it from getting marred up any more than what it is. Now we need a decent Phillips to see if we can get in there and get what somebody else has already boogered up. Now, those two, I'm thinking we need to take them all out. None of them are tight either. So I think somebody has may have already looked at this speaker. In fact, that one's missing. Alright, let's... Okay, what do we got? That's our jacks. Let me get these screws so I don't lose another one, since somebody has already lost one or didn't put it back in. See, something looks like somebody has glued the latch back together. Oh, look at it. This is nice. Got a diagram of everything and yellow twisties. Yellow bread twisties. Now that's no indication that somebody has been in here, is it? Okay, we need big belt. Nice flat belt. Wide. I don't think I have anything that wide to put in here. We may have to live with that. Okay, let's see our speaker wire. Let's see, can you see what the hell I'm doing? Excuse the arm. We're working right over here. Let me scoot you out a little bit more and I'll get you in all the way. Okay, we're right here. Here's our speaker. This is the white wire, comes up and goes to the outside jack. I wonder if we're having a problem with that jack. And then it comes back. It comes over here. Is our white wire right there. And it goes behind this rail here that holds this massive capacitor board. I mean, it is, God, there must be 15 capacitors on that little board. I wonder what that one would be. This is our 8-track player here. This is our radio. Wonder if this is our converter, where it comes in and converts it to 12 volts and then sends it out. Interesting. Alright, let's see, what else can we, I think what we should do is we can plug this in without getting shockified, and can test that speaker out and see if it's the speaker, which I hope it's not, or if we're picking up anything from this jack on the back panel here. Let's see, is there anything? No, little Johnny didn't stuff anything in it. So let's see, I need a couple of test leads. And I need a decent speaker. I wonder how many ohm. Good, that's an 8 ohm speaker. That's what this big behemoth is. Right, now we could also have a grounding problem, which the black wire comes around and same thing goes into our this massive cap board. Boy, that'd be fun to try and replace all them little boogers. I'll show you what I'm looking at and talking about, because you can't see it. It's that little guy right there, that board. Look at him. Look at all the capacitors on that little dude. God. Try and pinpoint one of them as being bad. You know, and I know if you have the right equipment, you can. But I don't have the right equipment. Let's see. We'll go yellow on black and red on plus. Now we may have to unhook that speaker in order to test. Okay, this is our power. Coming in. Don't stick your fingers in there. Now let me get. Oops, I unplugged it. I guess I was really scared.
$15 to $25 if you get regular deliveries from that courier. Daycare provider, $25 to $50 each. Get small gifts from the trial.
it's there, but it's really low.
Gardner, $20 to $50 tip.
Let's see,
Hairdresser,
we'll go with our
whatever you
black.
pay an extra one. Housekeeper, a week's pay or
Yellow
more
on
depending on the length of
black.
stay, or the length of service. Mail carrier, they say gifts under $20, normally not allowed to accept cash, by the way.
I need a little more volume.
For one session. Nanny, a week or a month pay. Wow. I need to become a nanny. I've got this entire list. If you want to read all of it, it just keeps going.
CBS News Break. We're all pretty much used to buying everything online now, but Black Friday is
Okay.
a big deal.
Good news. Sounds like we may have something loose. Because it seems if I jiggle stuff around, we get a little more volume out of that speaker. So I don't, and when I hooked up this external speaker, it was the same thing, all garbled. So, there, gee. So I don't believe we have a speaker problem. Good. I'd rather it be something else than a speaker problem because I don't have any replacements to put in there. Let's see, that's still plugged in. Let's get our power the hell out of there. Alright. I am going to take a minute and study this and decide what our next move should be. Here, I got to thinking about this, and I think what we should do is just to totally rule out that it is the speaker. Let's unsolder the white wire from the speaker and retest. And hang on while I go turn my computer off. Alright, let's hook this up again. Should be the little one, yeah. Okay. Now, I'll get it plugged in. Put that on FM. Okay, now let's hook it back up to the... Now it's working. And now our... Now that one's not working. Now our left isn't working. There it goes. Okay. I think it's all in our volume. All in our volume control knobs up front. So that means we are going to have to get in there and clean those. And I see something else that's a little fishy. And that's one of the standoffs for mounting. Where did that's broke off? That was right there. That broke off when we took it apart. Wonder if somebody had the wrong screw in it. No, those are all machines. That's where that was there. So that's kind of a bummer. So I guess we'll have to leave that one bottom screw out, which I don't really like to. Okay, let me get this straightened up here. So it sounds like our speakers are good. I think it's all gonna do within our controls up front. We'll solder our wire back. See, I'm glad I decided to do this and look at this a little bit more. Before we started chasing wires down. Okay, now can do this a couple of different ways. We can try and clean them from the front just by spraying into them, or we can try and disassemble this whole thing to get to them. And from the looks of it, I don't really believe I'm a big fan of that. But they have that little felt thing in there. And that, our volume, is the one that's, I think, is really and that is, yeah, I can see the back of it down in there. But I don't think I can really, I don't think I can really get anything on it. Oh man, again, that's going to be playing with them, getting awful close to those strings. The tuner string. What do you think? I think what we should do is see if we can clean them up front here first, and then if we can't get them cleaned up here, then we're gonna have to tear it down, which not a big fan of. So let's see, contact cleaner, straw. Okay, now while that is drying out, and I made the mistake by not putting anything down, and I got our paper wet on the back side. This, let me get the right screwdriver. I don't want to be stripping them out. This looks like just a very small turntable belt. Should be two screws on either side of this that hold that cover or whatever down. And the problem is this one over here, that's got a ground on it too. So we'll have to be careful so we can get that ground put back on there. See if I can leave that screw right in there and just kind of, yeah, twist that out of the way. Yeah, that's just a wide turntable belt. I have some turntable belts, but I don't know if I have anything that small. And guess what? The one I dropped on the floor. A little bit. No, it's the same width, not as heavy. But it should last probably the life of this again. Slide him over. Let's move that out of the way. I do believe that's going to work for us. Nice. Now, do we dare? So our belt's gonna work. Now, do we dare pull this up off? Yep. Perfect. That's the big flywheel. Oop, let me see. I'm thinking the end of it, right here. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, touches a pinch roller. So we definitely don't want any grease on that. That's why the groove. So the grease can't travel all the way down. Oh, there's a little nylon. Yeah. That's nice there too. Okay. I'll get this, I'm going to put this together enough to get the 8-track playing again. And come on, fingers. And I'm going to play a 8-track all the way through before we button it all up. In case we have to. in case we have to tear it apart. There we go. To do something with the 8-track. Now let's see if my screw's still in the same place. Let's see, kind of line it up with the other side. There we are. I think. I get it? Yep. Okay, everything okay? Looks like we're dried out enough for my contact cleaner. Put that back up. Now we can plug it back in. Oh shit! Excuse me. Let's get you up a little bit here. Okay. On. Helps if you plug it in. It's the second time I've done that. Little buzzy. Okay, I want to play a tape in this and let it play for a while to see how it's going to act. Like I said, I'm going to play Badfinger straight up. Okay, at low volume, it sounds good. But if you try and bring it up, there's a lot of buzzing in it. And that tape is good. So what I am thinking is going to happen is something that I was kind of dreading, but kind of figured I was going to have to do anyway. It seems also like the tape's running a little slow too. And I thought that seemed loose. I think what we're going to have to do is pull that board. I wish I could get rid of this panel. Turn this around so you can see what I'm looking at. You can see this panel right here with all the caps in it. I do believe I'm going to have to pull that out of there and recap that whole board. Because I think our power supply, our 12 volt, we have, feels like maybe our power supply might be in the other speaker too. But it's such a dirty sound. Maybe I can, once we pull this off, we can find out where our speakers are coming out of and fix that little area. I mean, from the 70s, you know, this thing's at least 50, you know, 48 to 52 years old. And these are the original electrolytic capacitors that are in it. I see a couple of them. The two big ones right here look like the one looks like it's bulging. Not bad, but it's got the plastic wrinkled on the top, like the top's pushing up and it's got the plastic wrinkled around it, and that could very well be part of our sound, the sound circuit. So let's see, it's unplugged. Let's take a peek and see what we're going to have to do to work on that little board. And then I think we're going to have to tear the back off of that other speaker and look at the power supply in it. Now, how hard are you going to be to get up out of there? See, it looks like somebody's already been in here before us, because there's these yellow twisties. I really never knew of. That could be. Right. How can we get that up anymore? Let's see, wires. Like to get it up. Now is that wire just hooked on that bracket? There we go. Okay. Now, here's, in fact, it's marked. Yep, it's marked. The bottom, this top piece. Oh, let me get you down in here. The side that we're having so many problems with, which is the right side, and that's this main one here. You can see here's our wire coming off of the white wire coming off of our jack and going down to the speaker. That's the right side, and the very bottom is the left. This is right side, and this is left side. Right side, this is the one I'm questioning because it looks like it's bulging a little bit, and that's the one that's really crackly. So actually, we should change both channels, these 6 capacitors here, to try and clean up our sound. And the other ones, I'm not sure. It's another white wire. It could be, I don't know. But they're similar too, so it's going to be like a left or a right and left. This could be, I don't know, maybe tone or the tone or whatever. And then same with down in here. This is the same thing. You have right and left. It looks the same. You have like a right. You have 4 capacitors, and they're all the same on the top and the bottom. And we have a gray set of wires and a brown set of wires coming off of those. Yep, white wire on the top on this. So I think what we should do to start with is, can I come up out of there a little bit more? There we are. Perfect. Is let's recap the two channels here on this end, and then we can slide it down in and test it and see if we're getting anywhere with it. So I'm going to have to go round up, let's see, 100 UF 10 volt, 330 10 volt, and this is a 470. I hope it's not a 50 volt. 16 volt. Yep, I should have all of those. So I'm going to get my desoldering station heating up, and hopefully these are marked on the circuit board. And the brown around the bottoms of these could very well be them leaking. I thought it was glue, which could very well just be glue. We'll find out when we pull one. And I want to make sure that these caps are marked with plus and minus so we can get them put back in. See, this one was marked with a red, like it was tested, or, you know, tested good, or, I don't know, tested crap. So I'm going to get some stuff rounded up, and then we're going to get started on recapping this. Alright, I went ahead and I changed the two that looked bad and the two little ones. I didn't have the 330 10 volts. I didn't have anything that I could substitute or anything, so I had to reorder. Had to order those, and I'm hoping that maybe those weren't our problem. Maybe it was just the 470s. But the 330 caps, 330s are audio. So I'm gonna say that we may get an improvement, but I don't think it's gonna clear everything up. And I am just gonna put one screw right there in the middle. That way we can test and see if that helped any. Okay. I still think we're going to have to get in that back speaker, that left speaker, and see if there's a power supply in it. Back you up. Okay. Plugged in, on tape. Okay, we're back playing. I'll mute you here. Alright, yes, it did clean up a lot of the crackling in it. But it's still running slow, and I still want to check that other speaker to see if there's a converter in it. So we're not totally done in here yet. I may have to do something else in that. So let's I think we're gonna have to undo that all the way so we can pull that up out of there. This speaker is heavy enough that I'm positive that there's going to be converter in here where it converts the AC to DC. Moment of truth. Yep. Those are all broke. So, gather up my screws. Okay, got a little diagram there, but yeah. These will have to do a little repairing. We can glue them back on. That'll help. Okay, here's our transfer. That should be our 12 volt. Should be our AC coming in, and then 12 coming out and going to the radio itself. Let's take a peek and see what kind of fun we have on this little guy right here. So is that just a clip? Yep. I should move out of the way so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Let's see, we need to take off the 12 volt. 12 volt adapter here. That's a 12 volt? No, it's not. That is just, yeah, that's the 12 volt. Geez. One up. Not much rope. And see, there's a big filter cap on the back side of this. And I know I don't have that. That's electrolytic. That's a 2200 UF 16WV. And this is a 470/16 that we have. But look at that. That big dude right there. That should be let's get this figured out here. Here's our should be our 12 volts and everything going to our radio. This is coming in. Okay, that's a big filter cap. That'll be a filter cap for your car. So when you plug in a 12 volt from the car, you won't pick up the engine noise and all that. Back in the 70s, we were still running some points and that in cars. I think 73 was the first year for electronic ignition on Mopar. And if you had points and condenser, you would pick up the noise from the points and condenser. There was no suppression of that noise. Same with spark, your old gas engines, the spark plugs. Those had points in them, and they didn't have resistor plugs in them, so your radios could pick up the frequency off of those individual items. It's the same with the car. If you had this in the car, without that big filter cap, you would get the big buzz and the humming and all that stuff from the car coming through, because it's a kind of a raw 12 volt. I hope I kind of explained that where you understand it. So this we really don't have to worry too much about, because nowadays with the resistor plugs and all that, and electronic ignition and computers and all that noise is filtered out through the 12 volts. So we're okay here. So actually we don't have to do anything in here. We're picking up, oops, our slow 8-track playing. I think, what am I doing here? Is from our power coming in to our radio itself. Alright, I apologize for not recording, taking the 8-track out, but I just wanted to get some of this done, so I just went ahead and pulled it up out. I got our board here recapped with all the caps that I have. These other ones I don't have in stock, so we're just gonna, hopefully, those ones are all okay. And the reason I pulled the 8-track player up out was so I could get at these caps. And I still have one left here to do. And then we'll go ahead and I had to pull it up because these wires are all tucked down underneath, and then the board screwed down to it, so I had to pull that up so I could get the board out so I could actually work on it and change the caps on it. And I still have one more here that I want to change out, and that's a 4710 10 volt. So I'll get one of those, get that replaced, and then after I get that one done, then I'll bring you back and at least I'll show you putting this back together, so you kind of have an idea as to what to do if you do get one of these. But what I thought was really interesting is under the circuit board on the drive on the 8-track, it says licensed by Learjet Industries Inc. USA, license number VP-237. Pretty cool. Learjet made that 8-track. Alright, let me get this cap changed out because I know I have that one, and then I'll bring you back, like I said, and we'll put this back together. Okay, now we're going to put this, I'm just going to set this back cover on for right now, because I want to show you what I found on the other half. Set that off to the side. Let me go over it. Okay, I did get these all epoxied back down, our screws here, here, and here. So hopefully that helps out a lot. Now, remember I was telling you earlier in the video about these caps on here. I got to thinking about this, and after looking at the inside of our base unit, there's nothing in the base unit that would resemble any sort of power supply. So what happens is we have our 120 comes in here. It comes around, goes through our transformer, changes it to 12 volt, and then it comes through. Should be 12 volt. Let's see, 6. You have 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 12 volt. Changes it to 12 volt. And then it comes through this little board here before going to the base unit. And this big one I thought was a filter cap, which, you know, basically it is a filter cap. But what that filter cap does is it filters out noise, and it keeps our 12 volts at a steady 12 volt. It's just like our driver boards on our pinball machines. We have a big 5 volt cap in there that helps maintain a steady 5 volts, not fluctuating up and down. So that's what this one does. This one will keep the 12 volts at a steady, constant 12 volt. It's called regulated. It'll be a regulated 12 volt because this filter cap will regulate the 12 volts. And same with the little one, I'm not sure, but you know, we're going to change them both out. I don't have a 2200 16 in an axial, so we're going to use a 2235 in a regular axial, and yeah. But we'll get this one mounted in there. You know, even the 35 volts is fine. It's just, that's an operating voltage. You can go up with them. I try not to go up real high. You know, I wouldn't put a, you know, a 50 or 100 volt in there, but the 35 volt will be fine in here. And I do have the 4716, which is a 4735. Same thing. I'm just going to replace them both with 35 volt. And if you were wondering, the older caps are always bigger. The older caps are always bigger. With newer technology, they were able, you know, they're able to make our capacitors smaller. But they're rated better, so they're you know, like I said, these are about 50 years old, so it's time to change them. And on this, in case I get called away, I am going to mark this board on this end as plus, just in case I get that out and I'm called away. I won't forget that end is plus, because on the axials, you know, you see you have your plus and your minus. So when we put this guy in here, we'll have to do a little creative soldering to get him in there the way I want to. I may even have to unsolder some wires off of here so I can work on it a little better. But now it's just waiting for my soldering station or desolderer to heat back up. It goes to sleep after so long if it's not being used. Alright, when that's warmed up, I'll bring you back and we'll get those two changed out. Alright, a little gutter all put in. And let's see, this one. Alright, take two. I had one wire was off. I wasn't going to tell you or show you, but might as well. This orange wire right here that screws onto this board right here was had come off, broke off the board because, you know, just from moving it back and forth all the time, you know, changing all the caps and all that. Yeah, whatever. So we got her soldered back on. Let's where it belongs, and let's see if we get anything now. Let's turn that down. There we go. Okay, the radio sounds good. Let's Okay. Evidently we got something going on with our tape deck now. Where we don't get any sound. These should be our two coming down to the board here. Okay. Let me see, it changed that one, that one. Let me get you. Okay, I only changed this one, and this one. Other than that, it's on our board here. I changed this. Nothing. Whatever it is, it's both channels. Yeah. Okay, now time to do a little more investigation. Let's see. For starters, I don't have that grounded. Where's that one last little screw? I don't think that's gonna do anything for us, but I think that actually goes down, but we're gonna put it that way for sure right now. Let's okay, obviously that was it. Alright, I need to let this 8-track play for a while so I can get an assessment if it's still sounds a little slow to me, and I want to determine if it's the 8-track itself or the player. So I'll bring you back when I find out something.